endeavor. Today we shall all be now listening to a special talk on dealing with pandemic by Dr. Anita Rigo, PhD, founder and CEO, Peer LSS and for Development Private Limited, OPC. And our senior colleague, Wing Commander Engineer Kamlakar Arakala, would introduce Dr. Anita Rigo. Over to you, Wing Commander Kamlakar Arakala. Would you please introduce Dr. Anita?
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, I'm going to introduce Dr. Anita Rigo. Dr. Rigo is a mental health professional. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Audible. Dr. Anita is a mental health professional.
Voice break aitundi.
Shall I continue?
Ram Reddy continue cheste manchidi. Ram Reddy continue cheyi.
Okay, sir. Please. Thank you.
Kamlakar agandi.
Thank you, Wing Commander Kamlakar. Wing Commander Kamlakar, I will take up from you.
Okay, Ram Reddy matladu.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anita Rigo, mental health expert, psychiatric social worker, founder, CEO, Peer LSS and for Development Private Limited, OPC, registered as MSME Udayam. Peerless for Development is a consultancy and psychotherapy firm. It has been providing consultancy services in evaluation and research, strategy, development, training, and documentation support to national and international organizations in the field of public health, specifically in SRH, MCH, gender, HIV, and mental health. A brief profile of her. Dr. Anita Rigo is a mental health professional with a MPhil and PhD in psychiatric social works and NIMHANS, Bangalore. With 32 years of long-standing professional experiences, she demonstrates leadership on sexual and reproductive health, maternal and neonatal child survival, gender and equality, gender-based violence, SOG, IESC, adolescent health and disability. She has provided long and short-term technical advisory and support to UNICEF, UNIDEP, and USAID. She has worked with international organizations such as CARE India, ICRW, and LSC centers for effective practice, project effective intervention, and academic organizations such as Tata Institute of Social Sciences and NIMHANS, Bangalore. She has been involved in several research projects and had several papers to her credit. Currently, she is working on an online mental health and psychotherapy platform, Amita, that provides a range of services through a range of professionals through the click of a button. This is backed by AIML and her contact numbers. We will provide the contact numbers once she is finished. Kindly welcome Dr. Anita. With a big hand, please. Everybody, I hope all are unmuted. If you can give a big hand. Shamprasad Reddy. Are you listening? Yeah, please welcome. Yeah. Dr. Anita, please. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening, everybody, and thank you for the very warm and very insightful introduction that we have, and it's my privilege to be there with you all. Is my screen getting shown? Are you all able to see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Full screen. Is it on full screen?
Yeah, screen is visible.
Is it on full screen?
Yes, Dr. Ma'am.
A lot of us are now in this whole situation of pandemic, and the last 1 year has been extremely difficult for us. So this 1 hour session is something that I've been taking from several people from industries to other setups also, and this is the presentation that I've been making for everyone. And so So the presentation today will first focus on what are the mental challenges consequent to COVID-19, the ways in which we'll handle the impact, the ways in which we can deal with the consequences of mental health consequences, and I would give you all some bit of take home techniques. Since March, all of us have been on this whole journey of looking at what is happening around. We started with the March sudden lockdown, and we saw a lot of migrants walking on the street. We also had people, in terms of our newspapers, our televisions, were all filled with those pictures. We also had a sense of comfort. We said, okay, now 2 months are over or 3 months are over, and now we can now relax. And we did relax. And then we had this whole huge problem of having multiple people getting affected. The difference between the first phase and the second phase is that in the first phase, we didn't see infection in close quarters. It happened to somebody there. We are safe. Yeah, because we were sitting at home at those days. But when the second wave happened, it was like, it was in your house. It was like, my father is affected, my mother is affected, my son is affected, and that became a little more difficult to handle. And not only that, it also meant that the infection that was there in the first phase and the phase 2, the wave 2, were slightly different, because here we were seeing more of deaths. We were seeing people getting on ventilators faster. We didn't have the supplies. We had such a huge population that got infected. And then we did not have the supplies of oxygen. We didn't have the supplies of medicine. We didn't have supplies of other injections that were required. In the first phase, it was more of fear about job loss. It's only now in this last 10 days that people are speaking about job loss. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Very clearly.
Okay, so these are the things that really happened in this phase. And for the people who had crossed 60, it meant a lot of difficulties, because people of that generation were used to going out on their own. They were used to having their evening walk, get-togethers, having some amount of small functions or whatever it is. But here we expected the people who were a little on the older age and had multiple complications to go into reverse quarantine. And reverse quarantine is that when you are not even infected, you are supposed to do home quarantine. You're supposed to do home isolation. You're supposed to keep away from other family members, especially children who are roaming around and coming out, going out of the house, who are not listening to you. You are expected to be staying away from them. And that was not very easy. And that's the same thing that happened globally also, because the children were the ones who brought the infection home, and then the elderly were getting infected. Thankfully, in our country, we don't have, while the elderly have been affected, we still are much better than the elderly who are abroad. So you see that COVID is very different from other traumatic events. It lasts for many months. It is slightly unpredictable in a lot of ways, and it impacts in several areas. It impacts in your current job thing, your movement, your which will get affected, which hospital that you go will get affected, your relationship with your neighborhood will get affected. So, and the last but not the least, the most important was the fact that it caused a lot of death, or at least some of them thought I probably will die. So that sort of an anticipatory grief is what we felt. We also felt this whole disenfranchised grief. What I mean by disenfranchised grief is that I might have my colleague, I might have my best friend, and that has complications or has died. And we may not be close to the person, or rather, we might have been close to the person. But the grief that I feel is no different from what the close family feels, because you're connected. But at the same time, I can't go for the funeral. I'm not allowed to go for the funeral. I'm not allowed to see the person when the person is sick, and it's not very easy. So you see, it is very complex in that way. The worst part is that we don't know how long the situation is going to last. We don't know whether people have already, before the wave 2 is over, people have started talking about the wave 3. There are, the World Economic Forum says that 2024 is what it will last till. So we don't know what it is. We are just listening to different things that are being said without really knowing what it is. So as I said, from a health point of view, if you really look at it, we have fears of getting sick. We have fears about what if I'm sick and others get infected. What is it that, how do I adjust to this new whole reality of not moving out, not going and seeing somebody, not going for a funeral of another one of your friends, not going and seeing somebody in the hospital, not eating what I used to eat regularly. I probably would have eaten out somewhere and ordered foods from somewhere, and now we are having restrictions on it. How do I support my family? For the elderly, there's a new problem that is coming in, because if the parents have died, then the children have to be looked after by the grandparents if they are alive, or by the aunts and uncles, because now the children, some of the children might have lost both their parents or one of the parents or the income earner of the family. So there's a whole lot of financial distress. If you are in business, probably your businesses are not doing well. You're not able to earn income. You're not able to connect with the families and friends in the way that you have. And last not the least is your access to supplies. Many of the times we think that all psychological issues are only in the mind. But let me tell you, a lot of psychological issues are in the body. Our headaches are a part of our body. Our discomfort, whenever we get stressed, our stomach churns. We feel tired and fatigued. We feel that our shoulders are paining. We feel that we are getting cramps in the day. We are not able to sleep in the night. We have sweats. We feel sweating in the night. We feel anxious. Our heart is beating fast. So if you look at it, there are a lot of physical symptoms, and many a time they get mistaken as physical illnesses. And it's all, and you know where it is hurting, because your bodily pains tell you where it is hurting. So if you look at it, it affects, stress affects us in multiple ways. It affects the way we think. It affects the way we deal with people. It affects our energies. It affects our motivation, the way we look at ourselves, the way we are creative. And also in terms of, we have probably a lot of families. What I'm seeing currently is that the family context have changed. People have started working from home. Many of them are fighting with each other. Many of them don't know how to deal with the teenage children. They do not know how to handle a child running around when the husband is working. So there are a lot of disturbances in the house. And a lot of families are now splitting, because this is what we hear from the lawyers, that the number of people who are going in for divorce is probably increasing. Because I was just talking to somebody the other day, and this person was saying our marriage was very comfortable before the lockdown. And after the lockdown, the couple started realizing that they are not able to relate to each other. Nothing has happened, but they really felt that we cannot live with each other for 24/7. And then they now are thinking whether we can continue this marriage or not. So now I want you all to, now that we know what has happened at COVID, let's look at where we are. I'm showing you a mental health pain scale. So in this scale, there are 1 to 10 points. And then I am going to read out these points, and I want you to identify at which point are y'all. So the point number 1 is everything is okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong. You're probably playing with your child or a dog or anything of that sort. Number 2 is that you're a little bit frustrated and disappointed. and you're easily distracted. And to cheer up, you take a little effort. It doesn't come in as easily as you think. Things are bothering you. Number 3, things are bothering you, but you are coping. You might be overtired or hungry, and you feel that you're having a slight headache. Point number 4, today is a bad day, and it is a part of a series of bad days. You still have the skills to get through it, but you're trying to be gentle with yourself, and you're trying to do some yoga and something because you are feeling the stress of it. Point number 5, your mental health has started impacting your everyday life. Easy things are becoming difficult. You feel that you should talk to your doctor. Number 6, you cannot do the things the way you usually do them due to the mental health. Your impulsive and compulsive thoughts have become very difficult for you to cope with. You're going and washing your hands multiple times. In your family, you're like very tense because somebody has gone out and not washed their hands. You're all the time in an anxious state. Point number 7, you're avoiding things that make you distressed, and that even makes you feel worse. You feel that you should definitely seek help, and you feel that there's something seriously wrong with you. You cannot hide. Point number 8, you cannot hide your struggles anymore. You may have issues sleeping, eating, having fun, socializing, watching TV, studying, and your mental health is affecting almost all parts of your life. Number 9, you're at the critical point. You're not functioning anymore. You need urgent help. You may be a risk to yourself and others if you're left untreated. Point number 10, the worst mental health and emotional distress. You're facing the most difficult emotional and mental health distress. You cannot imagine things getting anything better. You no longer are able to control the situation, and you feel that you need to seek some service immediately. Now, I want each of you all to think and tell me, where are you all on the scale? Are you all on 1 or 2 or 3 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10? Anyone wants to volunteer?
No, not now, ma'am. At the end, maybe at the end. We do not want to. Yeah. Let the flow continue, please.
Yeah. No, because I want this. Otherwise, it won't. The flow will not happen. So I want 1 or 2 volunteers to tell me at what point that you all are.
Yeah, Damana, ఎవరన్నా చేయలేపుతారా?
ఎవరు లేపలేదు. దేని కొరకు?
లేలే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ పాయింట్స్ మీద తను చెప్పిన 10 పాయింట్స్ మీద ఎవరు ఏ లెవెల్లో ఉన్నారు అని అడుగుతాం తను. మన మెంటల్ హెల్త్ పెయిన్ స్కేల్ ఏ లెవెల్లో ఉన్నాం మనము. దాని మీద ఏమైనా ఉంటే కనుక తను ఇక్కడే క్లారిఫై చేస్తారు.
Nobody has raised their hands. Okay. Continue చేయండి. You can continue, madam.
Yeah, okay. So if you're in the 1 to 3, then you're in the mild zone. If you're 4 to 7, you're 4 to 6, sorry, you're in the moderate zone. If you've crossed 7, you are in the severe zone. Anyone who crosses 4 and above needs to see a counselor, because it means that if you're on 4, 5, 6, you need to move to 1, 2, 3. If you're 7, 8, 9, then you need something more concrete and concrete services. So it's always better, once you feel that you're above this, talk to someone and find out how you can deal with it. There are a lot of helplines that are existing, and you can approach them. We have also our helpline. You could also approach. Some of them are free, some of them are charged. Now, looking at stress, a lot of us who are stressed are we create our own stress. Sometimes we might go to a mountain hill and go there and enjoy. It is very tough to climb the mountain, but we still do that. We just go up, walk up the stairs, the whole hill, and we still feel happy for having stressed ourselves. On the other side, we have a situation where we are totally lost by our stress. We are not able to do it. So there is something between the useless and the distress. in the use stress, we create our stresses and helps us to grow positively. Like going to a mountain and climbing that mountain is a positive stress and makes us feel good about it. So that is use stress. But doing something like having to do a assignment which is very complex and very difficult and you don't feel like doing it, that is distress. So now if you look at this whole curve that we have in front of you, we have 4 zones in this curve. The zones are too little stress, optimal stress, too much of stress, and burnout. Now, when do you have too little stress? When you're in sometimes in life, we have less of challenges, less of things to do, less of thing, and there's very little stress, and then you don't feel like. Say, for example, you're sitting in a telephone booth and only listening to the telephone of giving the tokens and whatever it is. There's too little stress, and you are under the required amount of stress, and that is when you feel that okay, I don't feel like working in this office. I better change my office. Then you have the second level where you have optimal stress, wherein you feel that you feel energetic, you feel like doing things. There's little bit of stress that is there. You want to achieve today, I want to present here, and so I have a little bit of stress that helps me to perform here, to present better. Then there are those who have more stress. Like suppose I'm coming here to present, and then I'm very anxious and very tense, and I'm like, I can't talk straight. I'm like fumbling and I'm like not clear in my communication. And that is called as too much of stress or overload. Then there are those who are so exhausted, they're so uncomfortable with the stress that they feel that they are burnout. Like now, if you look at the doctors, they're seeing death day in and day out, and they're not able to really manage. They're feeling anxious, they're feeling depressed, and then they're feeling burnt out. Now, I want you to understand that feeling anxious and having an anxiety disorder are not the same. You can feel anxious but may not have an anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder is when you lose control of your ability to do a lot of things when you are anxious. Feeling sad and feeling depressed again is different. Anybody can feel sad, but when you are feeling depressed, it means that you are not able to control. It's like a spring. If you pull a spring out, it naturally the position. If the spring doesn't come back to the normal position, that means that the tension is lost in the spring. So anxiety and anxiety disorder, the difference is that the spring has lost its ability to come back to the original position in a short time, because in a few minutes you should be able to come, or in a few hours you should come. But if the anxiety continues for 3-4 days or a longer time, then the spring has lost its tension. And that is when you really need to seek help. I normally ask stories about people, but do you all want to share the stories, or I should skip this slide?
Yeah, just you can, you depending on the time, madam.
Yeah, because the time manager is my this. I will manage the time. So there is something called thriving, surviving, struggling, or in crisis. Are we in the thriving zone? Are we in the surviving zone? Are we in the struggling zone, or in the crisis? So if you are calm and steady, and we have minor mood fluctuations, and you're able to take things in your stride, and your performance is not getting affected, you're able to listen to other people criticizing you and not get affected by it, or and you're able to make changes in your plan, you're able to tell things properly, communicate properly, and you're able to sleep, then you are in the thriving phase. In the surviving phase, you are nervous, you are sad, you have mood fluctuations during the day, your performance is not really good, you are easily angry and irritable, you're not able to keep control and adjust to the circumstances, you have trouble sleeping or eating, your activities and relationships that you enjoy, you no longer are able to enjoy, your muscle tension is felt, you're feeling pains and aches. Struggling, your fear is becoming persistent, your anger is becoming persistent, you're sad and hopeless, you're feeling exhausted, your performance is coming down, you don't like to interact with your family members, you're feeling your aches and pains are really troubling you and you're not able to sleep. Many a times you're going and taking medicines to overcome the difficulties. You're in crisis when you have a disabling distress and you're not able to function. You get panic attacks. You're not able to just sleep. You have thoughts coming in, and whenever you're going to sleep, your thoughts are not allowing you to sleep. You're easily angry and aggressive. You are careless. You're making mistakes. You are numb. You're withdrawing from relationship and you're dependent on others for and you're not able to cope with the situation. So if you're in 1 and 2, then you can still survive and function. The green and the yellow, you're still able to function. But if you're in orange and red, that means that you need to seek services. If you're in the yellow, you can possibly move to the green. From orange, you can slip to the red. So you need to seek services and seek help at the right time from the right professionals. And if you really feel like that I need to reach, we are there to help you out. As I told you, I have my Amita helpline that is there. So if you look at it, not every anxiety and sadness is an inability. Some uncertainty is normal. As I told you, the 1 and 2, the yellow part of it is not inability. And we can prevent. We can move from one level to the other level, provided you get the right help and the right services. Because many a time people land up with the wrong services and they may not be able to really handle. So you need to take the first and foremost thing when you're doing in crisis points, you should ensure that you sleep well, eat well, have lots of water, write. If you are a person who likes to write all your day-to-day diaries, write it out, because then you're giving vent to what you're saying. And stay physically active, do some exercises and stay physically active. If there's massive workload, many of you may not have workload. So if there's any workload that is becoming difficult to manage, then you find ways and means to handle those workload. Most important one is being connected. I'm happy that you have a group which is regularly connecting with each other, having this session, talking to each other, trying to find relationship and meaning in life. A lot of us, this probably is not related to you because probably you are not on the Zoom like the youngsters of others. So how do you manage Zoom is also a very important part in this times. The major part that many of the people are finding difficult is your information flow. There's a infodemic that is happening and people are getting extremely stressed with the TV and the WhatsApp messages. There are two ways you can handle it. That one way is that you don't open your WhatsApp every second. Rather, you fix timings that I will see the WhatsApp during lunchtime, or I see my WhatsApp when I'm having tea, so that you are regulated and your body relaxes by itself. The second part is that if you're really not able to manage and you feel that I have to shut down my WhatsApp, but at the same time I cannot shut down and I'm finding it overwhelming, please stop looking at the WhatsApp and ask somebody else to give you the highlights. You don't need to see the WhatsApp or whatever the TV or the newspaper is there. You can just ask somebody to summarize it and tell you. If you have COVID symptoms, remember that there is help around. There are free helplines. There are paid helplines. There are doctors who are there to give you support. There are counselors who are there. There are therapists who are there. So there are a lot of services that are now available. And remember that you can reach out and take services. There's something called, I told you I'll leave you behind with some tools. And there's something called the mindful living. Mindful living is that I go to a beach, and what do I do? When I go to the beach, I forget all that is there in my life. I just enjoy the beach. I enjoy the water flowing. I enjoy the sea, sand on the rivers. I enjoy the company of my people around. And I am in the present. I'm not thinking of what is happening in my house. I'm not thinking about what is happening in my office. I'm not thinking about what is happening to my friends. So I am living in the present. And that is exactly what mindfulness is living in the present and learning to unwind and enjoy what is there for a short duration. So when you're doing mindfulness, one of the first things that we say is that you should anchor yourself. So now when you're doing yoga, what's the first thing that they say? The first thing that they say is that keep your posture, get grounded on the earth. They make you sit on the floor and they tell you to cross your feet and sit. And they are letting you to anchor on the ground. So you're in a comfortable, stable position. You can do it even when you're sitting on the chair. You put your feet on the floor and rest your feet, be firm and anchored on the chair so that you're comfortable, because that's the first step of doing setting yourself before you start your meditation exercise. The second part of the whole thing is to take in the breath, hold on to the breath, feel the calmness and the thing, feel the air going into your whole body and then being one with that air that you're thing and slowly exhaling it out and flowing along with the air that is flowing out. So this way your body gets charged, it gets the sense of rest, and it also activates the parasympathetic nervous system. There's a simple exercise that we say, tell people that the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, wherein you use all your five senses. I told you about the beach story. Everybody goes and enjoys the whole scene. So you're actually using all your five senses. So the exercise is like that. Whenever you're in a stress or you're in a tense position, you just look outside, look at what are the five things that you can see and how are there and what is it, and enjoy the presence of seeing those things. Then you look at four things I touch. So I might touch my computer, I might touch my book, I might touch my cupboard, I might touch my body. So feel that and feel the goodness of all the things that you touch. The three things that I can hear. So you look at, close your eyes and look at here, what are the sounds that you can hear? I can hear the sound of the fan. I can hear the birds chirping or the sound of the auto going. So you focus on those things. Two things that I can smell. I can smell the flower smell. I can smell. If you can't find anything to smell, then go to the kitchen and pick up something and smell that. It can be some jeera powder or any of this. So feel the smell and see how it goes into your whole body. And the last but not the last one is in terms of feeling at least one taste. You can imagine that taste of, oh, I went to this place and I had this drink and I really enjoyed it and the flavor was yum and it's like it's on my tongue and I feel the sensations on it. So you think about one taste. This is found to be very effective when you're in a certain state that you feel very stressed and charged, and you are grounding yourself and keeping yourself in control and in check with yourself. People who are traveling or who are in difficult circumstances, we tell them that people get panic attacks, especially. We tell them to develop a self-care kit, which has everything from the five senses. I have something that I feel when I'm stressed. I know that when I hold this doll, I'll feel better. I know when I'm stressed, when I have a lime juice, I'll feel better. I know when I'm like, when I'm under stress, if I look at my son's photograph, I'll feel relaxed. If I'm like in a stressful position, when I hear this music, I will feel better. If I am stressed, I will use some scented candle or something. So if there are these things that make you happy and comfortable, then you take it as a self-help kit. So wherever you get a panic attack, you can just get connected with yourself through these self-help kits. There is a exercise I want to show you. I'll show it to the last, so that because many of you all might be restricted from going out. but then you can walk in your own house. You don't even need a big space. In your hall with a small area, you can do. I'll come back to it a little later. I don't know because that I will share it on the chat because I don't know whether you all can see it on the video. Okay.
Ma'am, you want to?
I want to play it, but I'll show it little later. Okay. I'll show it later. So then all of us need to have a well-being plan. The well-being plan is important because we need to know who do we reach out to and how do we reach out to people. Who do I want to be in connect with? It's also in terms of the altruism that we have. We want to help people out. And how will I get engaged in helping people out? How will I remain healthy? How will I keep my mind active? What are the routines that I will follow? What are the things that are getting too much for me to deal with so that I can stop getting distracted by them? How can I talk to whom do I talk to when I'm having stress? These are a part of your well-being plan, and you all can actually work and draw this up for yourself so that you are aware that when I'm stressed, I know I can do these things. The jar of hope is that you take a lot of things granted. So you fill your jar with a lot of notes so that you will say that what I hope for, what is my hope. So you put it in the jar, and when at a later date, when you are a little relaxed and comfortable, you open them up and see what did I hope for, and then work out and plan my life around that. As I told you earlier, we can do journal writing. We can write our diaries and put whatever points that you have so that by the end of the day, I know what I wanted to do and how I've done it. And I take a stock of my own life. I know where I am and how do I move forward. So the stock taking can take a little time off your day. Acknowledge that what did not go well. There might be one or two things that did not go well. That's fine. Accept it, saying that it is okay. There is a new tomorrow that is coming up and I can deal with it. Consider 3 things that went on very well. I probably had a good talk with my friend, and I'm connecting with that person after probably some 1 month or 2 months or whatever. And I really enjoyed doing that. So find out what are the things that you enjoy doing, you really felt good about it, and have that in your plan that you do at least 2 or 3 things that make you feel good and happy. Check on your colleagues and see whether they are okay, because we all live in a connected world. We want to know people are well or not. Whoever you have to connect with, please connect with them. And chef, last not but most important is that look at what is your energy level. Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling sad? Is my energy levels high, or am I able to do things? So by saying this slide, we have worked through the whole thing, understanding what COVID has affected us and how we are looking at life. So if you look at it, if you want to remain well, you need to look at a whole sphere of life, which is, it can be social, it can be spiritual, financial, environmental, emotional, intellectual, physical, occupational, because you have to look at that. Your wellness wheel covers everything. And that's what I want to communicate and end my session with. Okay, thank you so much. Any questions?
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, good evening. This is Ram Reddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Anita recommended. I have some. Our group is all are 60 plus.
Yeah.
And
them are 70 plus.
Okay. When I say 60 plus, that includes even up to 90 plus also are there. We are close to 2,200 members.
Okay.
See, every day what's happening, this anxiety and uncertainty, every day we are seeing some of our best known friends, colleagues, those acquaintances, those who had been working with us are becoming dearer to God. Not only that, those all who are in service also. youngsters at the age of 30, 25, 28, 40, those people are also becoming dearer to God. So with that the anxiety and uncertainty, the sadness and stress, as you had been describing, it is shooting up in us. So maybe the TV and WhatsApp also could be one of the reasons. But how to regulate, when you said it would be appropriate to regulate the timings of the TV, or somebody has to get information from somebody or like that. So for that, you kindly address us for a 70 plus on an average 65, 70 plus people. What should we do? What should be our roadmap? What exactly our this thing should do?
One of the things that you're doing is that you all are meeting regularly. Okay.
Yes, on WhatsApp.
It's a very positive thing. And you're not talking about what is happening and who's falling sick, and you're not discussing about COVID. That's the first fundamental thing. Discussing about COVID, leave it to the doctors and to the researchers and to the epidemiologists. Let them handle the thing. You handle your life and your activity, so that you are like doing things which are not related to COVID. Yeah. So that would actually keep you engaged and active. Have a timetable for your day. Because many a times what happens is the elderly probably have timetables, in better timetables than the youngsters, because you all have lived 70 years or 60 years, and then you all have used to getting up at a certain time. But COVID has changed these schedules that we used to have. We probably in the morning you would go for a walk, you would go for a temple visit, and then you would meet your friends at a coffee, over a coffee. You would go to the badminton court and come. But these are now affected. So don't let that affect you. Do something, replace that with something else. If you can't go out, look at you have a terrace on the top of your house, or you have a ground downstairs. Do a little bit of activity down this, but with a limited contact. Now, when you're saying that you should not, you should maintain physical distancing, it means that you continue to engage, and as you said that each of y'all are every day y'all are meeting on the Zoom. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's a very positive activity that you have, and that would help you in terms of handling, like being connected and discussing. I told you about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 activity.
Yeah.
So whenever you are distressed, do that so that you are able to get settled in that process. Those who are physically able to do yoga or any other relaxation, pranayama, or the shavasana. You need to do things like shavasana so that you are able to actually relax and able to get your senses down and under the threshold. If you feel that you're crossing into the orange zone and red zone, don't hesitate. Talk to people. Take professional services, because it is just, see, we don't have only COVID as a stress. We have 10 other stresses, and COVID can only make it worse. Yeah. So your stress, I'll tell you, I'm working with a woman who's almost near retirement, like she's some 57 years or something like that, or 58. Now she comes to me saying that after COVID, I have post-COVID symptoms. Post-COVID. I start talking to her, I start asking her a story, and I realize that stress is not COVID. It is something else. And then when we point out to her and tell her that we discuss and make her realize that your stress is not post-COVID syndrome, but it is something that you have not resolved in life. And that is the thing that you really need to resolve. How do we work it out? How do you defocus from all these stressful things and then start working on those issues? And trust me, I've been seeing her for the last 4 or 5 sessions. And she's now able to really work through her thing. And she did all the yoga asanas, and she was doing all these stresses much before the COVID situation, because she knew that she was losing her balance. But by now talking to someone she feels that she has started working through her problems that she was having. And today she feels much better. And I think within another one session, she will be off to go. She doesn't need to see me after this, because she has dealt with her issues and she's comfortable to deal with the issues. So I've told her that for another 1 or 2 sessions, you meet me once in 15 days. You decide whether you want to see me or not. And then when you have a crisis, you can come back to me. So these are the ways you handle it, because these are the ways. There's also this physical exercise. You were not able to go out and do things. So there is something that I have given the link on the YouTube link. So if you look at it, it is a small exercise 10-minute video where you can do physical exercise in your house itself, in a small place.
1 minute. Okay. Continue, madam.
Yeah. So you can actually do that small walking around exercise in the comfort of your house. It doesn't need a big space. It doesn't need anything great. It just needs a little space, and there's good music to it. And you walk. You may, for y'all, it might be a little too fast, but you can do something within your club itself. Yeah. So within your club, you can carry out this activity and feel good about it. Like every morning when you're doing, you can possibly, you're meeting every day. So one day you can probably have some yoga activity or some amount of laughter activity, laughter therapy. You might be aware that there is something called laughter clubs. So you get into those sort of things, you start laughing, you share jokes. You can have one day where you share jokes, which are all not just lectures and all that, but it also stress reducing techniques. Or you can have a music session. Somebody is good at singing, so you can have a music session, because these are relaxing activities. You will be able to handle those stresses with much more ease and comfort. So that is what you need to get in your everyday meetings that you have. You would have done it if you're meeting face to face, isn't it?
Yes.
Similar activities you need to do even online.
One more question, ma'am. Where you just in your talk you said that the the tension you have to be back to normal within 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Beyond that
Maximum
time, you need. Do we need medication for that, or what have we got to do to build up our mental strength?
Many of the times with elderly, we really don't give medications. Okay. Unless until it's a severe condition, for the elderly, we don't advise any of the medications. However,
so we are all considered as elderly now.
After 60, no? 45,
Yes.
50.
Yes, we are
45,
all
50
plus.
Because 50, 60 plus. So
Okay.
in that sense, because the reaction of the drugs is different in the elderly, the dose that you require is so small, you need a child's dose. So generally, you avoid giving medication. There are non-medical interventions.
Yeah.
And I follow a lot of non-medical interventions, and I try to resolve people's issues, their problems, so that they do not need to depend, as far as possible. They don't need to depend unless until it's a major mental disorder and there is a major depression where you require, it's like BP can be controlled if it's slightly fluctuating. BP cannot be controlled if it is not running properly. In the sense, you're not able to control it. So on where you are will decide what you have to do. The second part is that in the elderly, the brain activity changes. Yeah. You need to get an evaluation done with a neurologist, with a psychiatrist, if you're not able to do. For one reason is that, is it an early symptom? In some cases, dementia also presents as depression. Some of the signs of other medical issues presents itself as depression. So you need to rule out whether there are other medical conditions, especially any neurological conditions, that need to be treated. Yeah. So these are the little things you need to do. So that's why an evaluation, if you come to people who are trained in the space, many of the counselors may not be trained in neurology and neurosurgery. Those who are trained at NIMANS Bangalore are trained in neurology and neurosurgery. So we identify the symptoms, especially in the elderly. Like recently, somebody was saying that somebody was feeling something in the mouth. Then I told them that, see, this is not a psychiatric condition or a mental health condition. It is a neurological condition. So you need to see a neurologist. Somebody else came and said that something else, that they had a problem. I said, this is not something that you should deal with me. You need to go to a neurologist. So there are things that we need to find out where the problem is. And for that, an assessment is required. We have to rule out people should not. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, sit and breathe. I think that would be the best way to overcome some anxiety and some stress. And even this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, see, touch, hear, smell, and taste. I think they are all simple tests that can definitely.
I've given you very simple tools. I've given you extremely simple tools. If you come for therapy, I might give you some more tools, but for lay people to handle at your level, I'm giving you a very simple one so that you can be able to manage.
Yeah, I'll check with my colleagues if they want to. Please, ఎవరికన్నా doubts unte, please kindly raise your hands. Dr. Anita would be very eager to solve your problems. Even if you have any personal distance also, she is very eager to solve your problem. Please kindly raise your hands.
Sathreddy garu matladu.
ఎవరికన్నా ఏమైనా doubts ఉంటే అడగండి సార్.
Madam, good evening. I am MS Reddy.
Yeah.
I am following what you have told just now. Early morning, 5:45, 6 o'clock, I will wake up. And by 6:15, I will start walking in our colony. Before lockdown, nearby park, we used to walk half an hour. After coming, small exercise and meditation, all this we are doing after paper reading and news in the TV. Like that, I am comfortable and no problem at all, madam. Then I am not worried about COVID. I am not thinking of COVID also. Just I got 2 months back COVID. For 4 days I have been hospitalized and came back. Now I am quite comfortable. Nothing is there. And I am telling my colleagues, be comfort and be bold. Don't think of any negative thinking. Like that I am advising, madam. This is the way.
No, everybody is not stout-hearted like you, Satrit Anna.
That's why.
We are all weak-hearted. So that's the reason why we need psychiatric support.
So this is Damodar Reddy speaking. See, I was affected with the COVID about 6 months back and hospitalized and I came back. Only thing is, I'm just feeling weakness. I lost about 13 kgs of weight also. Of course, it's good for me. But the only thing is, still this indigestion, some digestion problem is there. And in about my normal diet, I'm not even taking 1/3 of the previous diet. That is the only problem.
So if you're not taking a normal diet and this is not, you need to see a nutritional consultant, but I'll give you some little things that you can work out. In terms of the diet that you're taking, see what adjusts and what doesn't adjust. Take one item at a time. So you will know what your body is adjusting and not adjusting. Okay. So rather than eating like say you have normally what we have 3 things in our 3 or 4 things on our plate. And if you have something that you're not adjusting with and you want to know which you're not adjusting with, you need to eat one at a time, and so that you know what is not adjusting to your body. And then you exclude that from your diet. Okay,
thank you. Right.
So that is one thing. Second thing is that if you once you remove that thing out of your diet, You need to substitute it with something that will adjust with you. Like say, for example, I can't eat dals. Okay, I'm very sensitive to any form of dal. But I know that I can eat fried vadas. Because anything that is deep fried, whenever the dal is well fried, cooked dal I don't adjust with. I adjust with fried dal. So I substitute, I know within my body what is adjusting and what is not adjusting. And then I replace that so that my nutrition levels are maintained.
Right.
So when you're eating, you need to, if you're removing something, you need to replace it with something. Or if a certain particular dal is not adjusting, then you probably look at moong dal is probably that you'll adjust with. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can look at those sort of things. Then probably to strengthen your stomach muscle, you probably will have to do some exercises to give a little more strength to your stomach exercises. If you have gas formation, you probably will have to look at whether I add a little amount of hing in my food. Because if you're gluten then you probably adding hing also will help. So those sort of adjustments in your cooking, you can work out provided you start doing one thing at a time and see what adjusts. And that is only experimental in that sense, or you have to go to a nutritionist and check it out with the what is it that you're reacting to. Or do it at home and try it out one at a time.
Okay, thank you, madam.
But have
Professor,
a balanced,
I would like to add one
balanced
more
diet.
thing. Ma'am, Dr. Anita ma'am.
Yeah.
Many of us are Dr. Khadarwali's followers here. We regularly take millets and all the kashayams, whatever he has suggested. Many of us, we follow that because we met him, we had interacted with him, we invited him to Hyderabad. We had so many meetings with all that. So that's how we are, to be quite honest, we are hale and hearty. But only thing is the psychological levels are impacting us.
So I think you can have a morning once a week, or at least 10-15 minutes before you start your session, do some yoga activities in the group itself, or a laughter club, or a joke telling session. Every day you can have 15 minutes of jokes.
Oh, yeah. That, madam, actually,
Okay.
I was having an idea of asking you for to include any new item in our daily course, because we are having 6 to 7 items daily, right from 4:30 to 5:30, and from 5:30 to 6:30 we are having this any special slot on Sundays, or regularly we will be having this engineer of the day, Swiya Avishkarana. That engineer will be manifesting.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting, very creative.
Since last year, 31st March, we are without any break. We are running the show. Today is the second year's 60th day.
Wow, that's really nice. And you have a very good participation. 54 people coming out of which, out of the 54, definitely 50 people are engineers.
Almost are engineers. Yeah. That's so, retired engineers. All are retired engineers.
Yeah, so which is the solidarity that you have and you all are holding on to it. I must really appreciate. And you should tell me the secret.
Active, madam. All of them are active.
Yeah. What is the secret that you are able to come every day?
Yeah. Secret is only because it has become a habit. Exactly at 4:30, people will be joining. Exactly at 4:30.
To be quite honest, Dr. Ma'am, to be quite honest, people are eagerly waiting for the 4:30 p.m.
because there is no other activity outside.
Other day,
now the Professor Ramanujacharya garu, he will have the clarification.
Yeah, somebody has raised hands. There are 3 people who have raised hands.
Yeah, 3 are there. Ramanujacharya, Professor Ramanujacharya.
Madam, good evening to you. I'm Ramanujacharya speaking now. See, I want to know the effect of your food stress on or fasting. brother.
I didn't get you. Can you repeat? Can somebody summarize, because the line is not clear?
Oh. What
Can
is
somebody-
what is the effect of food stress on COVID
I
What is
Food
the
stress.
effect
wanted
of
to know,
food
ma'am,
stress
what is the
on
food
COVID?
stress?
or fasting? Rather, you can say, do you suggest fasting?
Okay. See, I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a nutritionist. But in nutrition, if you look at it, if you look at what the doctors give you, when you're fasting, it all depends on, there are certain types of fast which are good for the body. Once in a way, once a week fast is good, is okay for the body, provided you are on the other 6 days of your week, you're eating well. Yeah, if you go and tell a person living in the slum and say you fast, yeah, she's not eating 5 days or 6 days of the week, they're not eating nutritious food. And then you tell her fast for 1 day, you're probably sapping out the nutrition of the body. So
Yeah.
fasting has to be done when your 6 day of food is nutritious and healthy, and you do not have any health conditions like acidity and all that.
Right.
Because if you have acidity, then you damage the mucus of the stomach. The second, so your immunity is a lot dependent on nutrition. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay, thank you. Ramanjal, any more?
Iqbal Ahmed.
Venkat Narayana is there. Venkat Narayana.
Venkat Narayan. Venkat Narayan.
Venkat Narayana garu.
Good evening, madam. Hello.
Yeah, she's here.
చెప్పండి, వినబడుతుంది.
Good evening, madam. Very glad to see you and your lecture. So, yes, sir, madam. Every night, due to this news from either WhatsApp or TV, we are getting a tension about the COVID. In the midnight, I will be getting trouble similar to COVID troubles. So early in the morning, I am brushing with the Colgate toothpaste. If I tasted toothpaste, I thought I am not having COVID. After some time, I will gargling with the salt water. Then also I am getting the taste of the salt. Then I am confirming that I am not having COVID. Again, after some time, I am having honey with lime water. Then also I am tasting it. Does it serve the purpose that I am not having any COVID? Is it a litmus test for me that I am not having any COVID?
you
get, madam?
No, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you're doing it repeatedly, then you probably are getting stressed.
Yeah, you're overthinking.
Yes.
So it is not the question of whether you're this, because your body, whenever there is something in your body, it tells you. Body has its own language, it has its own communication. If you're not well, it shows us fever. If it is not okay, it shows us cough. It shows as leaking nose. That's a communication of your body that something is not going okay. You don't need to put the body to test. Yeah. So if you're doing it, it tells you that you're getting stressed, and it's better that you see somebody and help you out in terms of ways of handling your stress.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, Narayana. Ramaya garu.
Thank you, madam.
Ramaya garu.
Okay. Good evening, madam.
Sir.
My name is Ponnala Ramaya. Actually, our health, mind is always positive, and physical exercise and mental exercise.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, my interest is, suppose there are two ways. The only thing is helping to others, and I teaching to students. Okay, this is mental. Still, my stressing. I think I don't have any stress regarding whatever I am doing. This is my interesting. Still, I am getting some stress. How to avoid that one? It is my personal.
Are you a perfectionist?
Yeah, I am already. I don't have any B. Only I am having only BB.
I'm asking you, are you a perfectionist?
No, no. Good question. Good question from madam.
Good question. The
No,
reply would be
nobody.
bad.
Because being a perfectionist itself can cause stress. Being very good at work, or people who are like do things in a particular way, they tend to do this. It's like the curve I showed you, yellow, green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Four stages.
yeah. So you are somewhere in the middle, but you can shift left or right.
All right.
Okay, okay, madam.
That
Okay,
is
madam.
where stress comes in. Your perfect will keep you in the center.
Okay, okay, madam. Thank you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ramaya Garu. Iqbal Ahmed, baat kariye.
Good evening, Madam Garu.
Yes.
Madam, good evening, Madam.
Good evening.
Clear.
I am Iqbal Ahmed, retired Deputy Executive Engineer from Irrigation Department. You told, Madam, that we should far away from the issues of the COVID-19.
Yes.
But what we are, as our Secretary Shyam Prasad Reddy Sahab and other elders have told, that we are involving in our meeting daily 7 to 8 items, in which we are performing obituary, say Shraddhanjali,
Venkatesham, mute.
bereaved persons, and telling condolences to their families.
Every day. That
Every
means
day.
indirectly or directly we are
Due to
now.
which just we are
Yes.
getting stressed automatically. Whether I am asking you whether this item should be taken daily or not.
If you want to do
No.
Doing it every day or doing it once a week.
No, almost every day we are doing.
So I'm
Because-
saying that you can do it once a week.
What I
So
am
that
telling
No, no,
you,
no.
due to
What's happening
daily,
here, madam?
everyone
Madam,
is
let me
getting stressed.
let me
Everyone
clarify
is
what
getting
Iqbal Ahmed
into-
wants to say. Iqbal Ahmed, 1 minute.
Yeah.
No, what's happening? Amongst our community, every day, either a retired engineer or in-service engineer are becoming dearer to God. So the very evening at 4:30, we pay homage to him. Then we continue with other activities. That's what he wanted to say. Whether we should continue this or not, the Iqbal Ahmed wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it is
Morning
becoming
11 to
stressful,
12. That also there.
yeah. If it is becoming stressful, this
Yes.
is a choice that you make. You can say that homage will be paid once a week. Yeah. So that it becomes less stressful for people, and push it to the morning rather than to the evening. Because in the morning, the day then goes into multiple things. In the evening, then you end the day with grief. Yeah. The homage can be paid more in the morning time, and not every day. Homage is definitely going to be very a dampener.
If it
You
is
should
once in a
speak about.
Okay, one thing, madam, because we are having 7 to 8 items from 4:30 to 5:30. We take up this item in the beginning itself. Afterwards, we are having several other items. Even we are having jokes also at the end of these items.
Okay.
By 5:30, we will be very normal.
Okay. Because if somebody is feeling stressed, don't join the homage part. That's all.
Only for a few seconds, few minutes.
A few minutes.
Yeah.
About 10 to 15 minutes.
No. Here, one more thing.
Volume down. Make the volume down, and you don't need to listen to the whole part. If it's very stressful for you, for whoever is feeling stressful, can just keep the volume down and not be a part and go out of the session and then come back. Because each of the person is on a different scale. Somebody is at 10, somebody is at 3, somebody is at 1, somebody is at 7. So that sort of a regulation, you'll have to self-regulate yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Krishna Kumar, unmute I matladu. Krishna
Very good
Kumar.
suggestion, madam. Thank you, madam.
Krishna Kumar.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I am Krishna Kumar.
Yes.
I am a challenged person, walk on the crutches only. And the thing is, I was attacked by the COVID during the month of March 3rd. And after that, I have taken necessary treatment. After 15 days, the doctor himself said there is no need for you to go for any test. But my conscience does not agree. and I got it tested. We both got positive and negative
Negative
only.
then.
Negative.
Negative.
After that, he made me to not to take the COVID shield
Injection.
for another 3 weeks. So I had to postpone from April 26th to 10th of May. I have taken the COVID shield also, and now also I am very happy. I don't have any ill effects or anything like that. But I enjoy music right from my childhood. I am a singer also. I can imitate almost all singers' voices in irrespective of
Have a
ladies or
demonstration
gents.
for us.
And I
You should
listen
have-
to music. I listen to music not less than 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day, and it will be running, and my mouth will be playing with all sorts of musics only. In addition to that, I, being a challenger person, if I take lunch or dinner, I feel as if the stomach is filled with a very heavy load. But I walk on crutches also for 15 to 20 minutes. In the mornings also, I do exercise, sitting posture only, and anything required, rather whatever I have said, is it necessary for me to do anything more than that?
Reduce diet.
Reducing weight is something,
A
and
little weight is increased a little, 4 to 5 kgs within these 2-3 months, because I had a lot of feeling to have more food because of this medicines I
of the
suffer.
gas. Because of the indigestion, you're feeling like eating more. Yeah, it's part of the indigestion. So, see, this is something that you should ask a doctor. I'm not the right person to tell you the correct thing. But what I feel is that reducing of the weight, trying to see what food is not adjusting, because some foods cause gas. Like, say, for example, cabbage, beans.
I
leads
take
to-
morning all types of dry fruits also, including wet fruits also,
Yeah,
in the
so you
morning for
need-
the breakfast.
Yeah, you need to see what is it that is causing you the bloating sensation, and discuss it with your doctor so that the doctor can tell you, is there any other thing that you need to do, or you need to take a medicine, or you need to change your diet. A nutritionist can tell you, a yoga, Ayurvedic doctor can tell you, because whether there is a certain amount of diet changes. Like, I'm seeing that people who are on rice and wheat tend to have reactions to food as they grow older. This is my observation. And they do better with millets.
Congratulations, madam. We felt very happy. And
I'm a millet user.
yes.
Oh,
I have 7 days millet.
Wow. Yes.
A big clap for
just like our Shyam Prasad Reddy, I think he
But
might
one
have
thing about
completed
being a-
taking millets
no.
more than 2 years, 3 years, I think.
Minus 10 years. The thing is that with millets, what you need to know is that you might have iodine, you might land up into iodine deficiency. That's what the doctors have told me. That you might land up into, because millets don't absorb iodine from the soil. So have iodized salt in your diet and iodine rich foods.
Okay, Prakash Chari. Prakash Chari. Still
Unmute.
okay, there's some problem on the net. Anybody wants to have any clarification?
Okay.
They're done, I think. I don't see anybody.
Right.
Madam, I am Shyam Prasad Reddy. I am the secretary of Telangana Retired Engineer Association. And we are very happy to see you today on the 60th day of second year of our this Zoom meeting, which we are conducting continuously since 31st March 2020. And on every Sunday, we will be having a special talk on some issue. And today, when I requested Kamalakar, and immediately he has contacted you, and that way we are having this opportunity to have your discourse today and a special talk on this havoc, this pandemic situation, how to deal with it, and how to increase our confidence levels and other things. And millets. We have introduced Khadarwali in Telangana in 2018 on the 3rd March. Since then, I am on millets only, totally on millets. And we have dispensed with some items, just like just now you have said, rice and wheat, sugar and milk. And in that way, and moreover, these are physical things. But the real thing is the mental thing. Mental means we have to be a positive natured, we have to convert as a positive natured person. Everything we have to see in a positive way, not in a negative way. In that way, we have to see in COVID also. In that way, we are meeting every day, and one doctor suggested, you are doing a really wonderful thing. You are doing
a wonderful thing.
What do you call thing, and everybody is coming to you in the evening, and they are sharing their views and difficulties, and going back after 2 hours. Again, they are waiting for the next day's 4:30. In that way, we are enjoying every day, and all the classmates and my juniors, seniors, everybody is coming and sharing their views, and we are enjoying with so many other items. Every day we are introducing one celebrity of Indian celebrity, and Mr. One of my engineer, he introduces even Indian this engineer of the day, and legendary engineer and personality. In that way, we are having 6 to 7 items, and one of the item is even jokes. That only 1 or 2 jokes. Now you are suggested to go for a 15-minute session for jokes. Definitely we will go introduce it, and people will be waiting for that session, I think so. In that way, we are very happy, and we are very happy that you are also millet, depending on millets only. Really, it boosted our thing, because all the 3 years we have propagating out millets. We have conducted so many meetings in every district with Khadarwali, and even we have gone to Andhra Pradesh also. Even we have conducted meetings for farmers to raise these crops, because once we have created demand, it has supply should be there. Therefore, even we are doing that thing through our association, and we are very happy, madam. You have given.
How you promote mental health?
Mental health. This is really mental health.
How you go promote mental health?
Really very nice to hear such words from you, madam. And
let Kamalakar speak.
We are very happy.
Unmute అయి మాట్లాడండి.
ఎవరున్నారు? కమలాకర్ గారు
కమాండర్.
The Dr. Anita Rego, you have been excellently, very kind to accept our invitation, and absolutely it went off very well, except my net, and though I was listening to it, and you have clarified also so many doubts. It was wonderful. I could see everybody was thoroughly enjoying the points, the concepts, and the reasons behind that. And we are very grateful to you, ma'am. Absolutely, thanks a million. And as you rightly said, this association is really catering to even in COVID days. I mean, I don't want to use that word, COVID days, lockdown days. So we are entertaining ourselves in the sense, keeping ourselves balanced. That is absolutely great. Even I am
will continue, bhai sahab. After COVID, we will continue this.
Yeah. So I am a new entrant here, but I am enjoying it thoroughly. Only about a week back I joined. Absolutely, it was wonderful. Great. Thank you very much, ma'am. God bless. And we are very grateful to you for accepting. And I also thank Dr. Lakshminarayan Garu, who is going to talk tomorrow. He is the one who recommended your name, ma'am. I was not knowing you. Who recommended, then I contacted you. And the engineer Shyam Prasad Reddy Garu and all the engineer Damodar Reddy Garu, they accepted immediately, and we organized this. and it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful, ma'am. Great, amazing, excellent.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And-
And it is my privilege and pleasure to be with you all. And I don't know if any of you have been from the engineers Khairatabad office, because I see some faces familiar.
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
done a session for
Of
you all
engineers.
some
We
years
are all
back.
members.
We are all
of the
members.
Institution of Engineers.
I had done a session years back and I'm seeing familiar faces.
Oh.
I could recognize the faces.
When did you come, madam, to institution? In which year?
I possibly think about 7-8 years back.
Oh, very long back.
And Dr. Anita lives in Khairatabad.
Oh,
A neighbor.
Okay.
oh, it's a walkable distance instead of engineers.
Yeah. Rather, I've been thinking
Are
I
you
must
from
buy
Hyderabad,
your
madam?
solar
Are you from
cookers.
Hyderabad actually? Native? Native?
Native is not Hyderabad. Native is on the other west coast.
Acha.
I come from the west and I come to the east.
I see.
Madam,
అవునా
can you
సార్,
understand
అందరినీ
Telugu,
అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తే
madam?
చప్పట్లు కొడదాం.
Yeah. Okay. Unmute.
అందరిని అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తే ఒకసారి
Unmute themselves. I have to unmute themselves.
And then
please kindly unmute.
Yes.
Let us give a
Okay.
Big clap.
a good applause to Dr. Rigo madam. Anita Rigo madam. అందరూ
Thank
ఒకసారి
you, madam.
చప్పట్లు
Anita
కొట్టేసి.
You also, I'll also clap
Thank
for
you.
you all. I clap for you all. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
madam.
doctor. Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
శ్యామ్ దామోదర్ రెడ్డి గారు ఒక్క క్వశ్చన్ అనిత గారికి దామోదర్ రెడ్డి
Yeah, Ved Kumar garu maatladandi.
ఏం లేదు డాక్టర్ జీ దిస్ ఇస్ వేద కుమార్ ఫ్రమ్ మణిపాల్ ఐ స్టడీడ్ మై ఇంజనీరింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ మణిపాల్
Okay, my
is there anything from Rego was in a syndicate bank? Do you know
no,
him?
I have very few Rego relatives. I don't have any Rego relatives in Mangalore, but we are from Mangalore and historically.
So yeah, just when you concluding when you said west, then Rego was our advisor. You know, Mr. Rego
Yeah.
he was a regional manager, very
But,
high level officer was in syndicate bank earlier.
My Rego relatives are in Bangalore.
He also served in Hyderabad for 5 to 6 years. Okay. Thank you. Nice talk.
Yeah.
But ఇది పాట పాడమను కృష్ణ కుమార్ ను.
Sir, madam, we conclude every session. We conclude every session with the song of my friend Krishna Kumar. Every
Okay,
day.
very nice.
Every
Let me listen. Let me listen to a song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam.
Krishna Kumar, over to Krishna Kumar.
Thank you, Shyam Prasad Reddy garu and President Garki. Madam, your valuable suggestions are very, very encouraging to us, and I am sure that we will increase our confidence levels
Mental condition.
everything and with that I am going to render one song. Hum honge kamyab, hum honge kamyab, hum honge kamyab ek din. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. हम चलेंगे साथ साथ, लिए हाथों में हाथ हाथ, हम चलेंगे साथ साथ एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर, होगी शांति चारों ओर एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब. कोविड से जरूर हम होंगे कामयाब.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Next time, after few months again, we will invite you, madam, sir.
Thank you, madam, for hearing my song.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice. I remembered my childhood, my school.
Yes, madam.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am. Have a good day, ma'am. Right.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Right.
Thank you, Ram Reddy. Vote of thanks చెప్తే చెప్పు.
జగుదాదా ఉన్నాడు.
జగదీశ్వర్ అన్మ్యూట్ గా
అన్నాడు 7 కు 10 minutes పర్లేదా? కంక్లూడ్ చేద్దామా? ఇంకెవరన్నా మాట్లాడతారా?
కంక్లూడ్ ఇంకేం లేదు.
ఏం లేదు, అయిపోయింది, క్లోజ్.
డాక్టర్ అనితా
రాంప్రసాద్ రెడ్డి సాబ్
యా
ఇప్పుడు వచ్చినావు ప్రకాష్.
ఇది ఏంటి నెట్ ఏదో ప్రాబ్లం
ఇచ్చినప్పుడు నెట్ పని చేయలేదు.
అవునవును. ఓకే
ఉంది సార్.
మంచిది. జగదీశ్వర్ కంప్లీట్ చేయి.
సి నారాయణ గారికి ట్యూస్డే ఆపర్చునిటీ దొరుకుతుందా సార్?
నేను తర్వాత మాట్లాడుతున్నాను. హలో,
తర్వాత మాట్లాడదాం.
కంక్లూడ్.
డాక్టర్ అనితా రేగో గారు ఈ రోజు వచ్చి మనకు ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ ను ఎట్లా అధిగమించాలి అని అందరికి చెప్పి కొన్ని కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ లెవెల్స్ బాగా పెంచారు. వారికి ప్రత్యేక కృతజ్ఞతలు. అందరు కూడా ఇంటరాక్షన్ అయ్యిండ్రు. ఏదున్నా డౌట్స్ కూడా అన్ని పోయినాయి. వారికి ధన్యవాదాలు. దామోదర్ రెడ్డి గారు, మన ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారు, శ్యామ్ ప్రసాద్ రెడ్డి గారు మంచిగా ఇంటరాక్షన్ చేసిండ్రు. సాధులు అన్నారు గారు లెజెండ్ ఇంజనీర్స్ గురించి బాగా చెప్పడము, వారికి కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు. మన జి వెంకటేశ్వర్ గారు ఈరోజు హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ది డే వారు చెప్పిండ్రు, వారికి కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు. ముత్యంరెడ్డి బదులు మన దామోదర్ రెడ్డి గారు ఇవాళ కాదర్వల్లి గారి గురించి చెప్పారు, వారికి కూడా ఆరోగ్య సూత్రాలు. సురేందర్ రెడ్డి బదులు గంటా సురేందర్ బదులు జగదీశ్వర్ చెప్పిండ్రు, వారికి కూడా. నిజాం వెంకటేశం గారు ఇద్దరు వారి గురించి చెప్పి అసలు వాళ్ళు ఎట్లా సోలార్ గురించి మన మోడీ దృష్టి కూడా తీసుకొని చెప్పిండ్రు. వాళ్ళందరి మీ అందరూ ఈ రోజు అటెండ్ అయినందుకు అందరికి కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు. నమస్కారం.
కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ సెలబ్రిటీ.
హలో, ఫైనల్లీ ఎక్స్ప్రెసింగ్ హార్ట్ఫుల్ thanks and congratulations for our Kamlakar garu and Ramanna. Really moderated the things nicely. And finally Krishna Kumar, very hum honge kamyab, very nicely he has rendered the song. And especially Raghuveer gar raledi roz mari. Anyhow, we have enjoyed today's special talk by Madam Dr. Anita Rego garu. వారికి మన అందరి తరఫున మరొకసారి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుతూ, రేపు మళ్ళీ అగైన్ మనకు కమలాకర్ గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా రేపు మనకు ఒక డాక్టర్ లక్ష్మణారాయణ గారు వారు కూడా రేపు మనకు ఈ హార్ట్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ అండ్ తర్వాత కార్డియాక్ అరెస్ట్ దాని గురించి మనకు క్లియర్ గా విశదీకరిస్తారు రేపు. అగైన్ సీ టుమారో అగైన్ ఎట్ 4:30 PM. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Before we conclude,
చెప్పు రామ్ రెడ్డి చెప్పు.
సార్, బిఫోర్ వి కన్క్లూడ్, దామన్న నేనేమంటాను అంటే, ఇప్పుడు సరే జోక్ సెషన్ కాకుండా అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక 3-4 minutes లాఫింగ్ ఇది పెట్టుకుందాము. దట్ విల్ మేక్ టోటల్లీ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్డ్ పర్సన్స్.
లాఫింగ్ క్లబ్ సార్.
ఎవరో ఒక ముచ్చట చెప్తే దాని మీద నవ్వడం బాగుంటుంది. నవ్వుతే పక్కింటో
ఈ నవ్వు జోక్ కన్నా ఎక్కువ ఏం లేకుండా నవ్వాలి, కల్పించుకొని నవ్వడం. అదొక 2-3 minutes ఉన్నా దాని వ్యాయామం వేరే ఉంటది.
గుడ్ సజెషన్.
చూడండి, రేపు ట్రై
చేద్దాం. 5 నిమిషాలు లాఫింగ్ చేస్తాం.
అది నిజమే, గానీ మనం ఏం చెప్పకుండానే మా నవ్వుకుంటూ పోతే పక్కింటోడు ఏదో కేటగిరీ వేసేస్తారు. పక్కింటోళ్ళు అటుపక్కలు ఇటుపక్కలు ఒక వేరే కేటగిరీలో వేసేస్తారు. ఓకే, రైట్.
ఎంతమంది ఎన్ని కుక్కలు మరుగుతాయన్నా ఏనుగులు పోతుంటే.
సమాప్తము. టుమారో అగైన్ వి విల్ మీట్ అగైన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.